All right. So, a couple things I wanted to go over today. Um, let's see, where do I begin? So, as far as what I wanted to discuss today, and I try and make it open, so that way we're not sitting here bored. Is I'm going to go over how to get it. Our main focus today, because I know some people are having trouble with it, is getting into a call. I'm seeing a lot of high call volume, which is great. But if you're doing a lot of high call volume but no pitching, you're going to burn out real fast. So I'm going to discuss some of that, how to get into pitches, and I'm going to ask some of you guys to participate that are good at it. Um, Also, I'm going to correlate that with our lead system because it goes hand in hand, and especially talking to Gina last night, I thought it'd be a good idea to go over that. So I'm going to start off with the lead system. You know, not everybody has access to all the campaigns. So let me start by saying we have 3 campaigns. We have Ultra Platinum, we have Platinum, and we have Gold. And if you don't have access to all the campaigns, do not look at it as anything negative. And I know you feel that way, and that's normal. But I'm here to tell you, it is not a punishment. It is not to say that you can't sell or we don't want you to run the quote unquote the good leads. In final expense, and the mower guys are here, so you may hear them come by in a second. But in final expense, truly, a lead is a lead. It really is. Because even if a lead is a year old, and I'm not saying ours are, but I'm just saying, coming from Marcus, myself, and Jeff here in the office, all 3 of us have been in the field for a length of time, and we've all not only ran, but purchased bonus leads. And they're simply just direct mail leads that may have been pitched, may not have been pitched, whatever the case is. They're going to be 60, 90, 100 days old. But our approach to it was that, one, they just sent the lead in. Now, I know this is going to go along the lines of field training, but you can take this training, whether it's over the phone or field. But really, there's no reason, once you hone in on your craft, there's no reason why you can't pitch someone, whether the lead is a couple hours old, which is in the Ultra, or a few months to a year old. Because you have to think about what we're offering. It's not the early bird gets the worm. And really, I bet if I ask some of you, the Ultras aren't even, I would consider, the greatest leads. In telesales, especially with telemarketed leads, you'll read people online that say, oh, you got to get those you got to jump on those while they're hot. Well, coming from us developing our own telemarketed leads for several years now, we've tried it all. And what we learned is they need to sit at least overnight. We got a much better response the next day versus I would get them in the morning, scrub them, and pass them out right after lunch back when we would manually dial, and we just got more aggravated people than we did hot leads. But you have to be able to understand that maybe that bonus lead, maybe they did buy a long time ago. It's final expense. Guess what happens to policies? They lapse. They cancel. Some of you have ran into that already. They might have only bought 3,000 or 4,000. Maybe they need a better plan or more coverage now. So this is a great way to correlate right into how to get into pitches, how to get into conversations. It doesn't matter the lead. The only reason we have different campaigns is really on my end, money. The ultra leads, we do need you on your game because it's not that we don't want you to burn leads. We don't want you to lose potential sales for careless, let's be blunt, rookie mistakes. And we've all been there. So there's nothing wrong with it. So it's more of, hey, when you're ready for the big show, then you'll get access to Ultra. And some people get they lose access. Again, it's not to punish you, but to say, all right, saying to myself, I jumped ahead, I went too far, and I've done that where people have gotten ultra, and all right, no, they're not ready for ultra, and you'll understand why in a minute, why we have to make sure you're ready for ultra. But here's how the system works, okay? And chime in, ask questions. This is an open forum, but in the ultra campaign, every day I put in brand new leads. Every day I develop and purchase brand new leads. Now I'll tell you right now, I've only been purchasing our TV leads from our vendor. And I'm comfortable with that. Listen, anything in telemarketed leads or avatar leads is walking a fine line. I've talked to a million attorneys. I've done a bunch of research. I've talked to my accountants. It's just walking a fine line. And at the end of the day, my goal is to grow. We're never going to stop growing. And the bigger that we get, the less we can rely on telemarketed leads in any form. So for the past, I'd say maybe 30 days, I've only been developing TV leads. So every morning, like when I'm done with this call, I'm going to place an order with my dude Chris. He's going to send them to me sometime this afternoon. Now, they might have been developed overnight. They might have developed this morning, all right? But I tell him how many I want, and that's what he sends me. And then they get loaded up. Typically, we will run the Ultra campaign. I kind of mix it up. Like yesterday, we started running the Ultra leads right at 9 a.m. The problem with that is, with the Ultra leads, we get he develops leads in all the states that I'm licensed in. Because out of everybody, I'm licensed, I think, in the most states. Well, actually, Gina may have me beat. But so he has all my states that I'm licensed in. That just ensures that if I want 50 leads today or 500 leads today, good chance I'm going to get my order. So with that, yesterday we ran out of Ultra leads at like 9:38, pretty quickly. But then at 10 o'clock, the inventory goes up, right? Time zone. That's the issue. So like today, when we're done with this call, definitely it'll be after 10 o'clock Eastern time. We'll probably start on the Ultra leads. Now, once those run out, which there's a few hundred, then that's where I go on to say, okay, Ultra's out, switch. The Platinum leads, all right, those are kind of in the middle, where they're going to be a combination of newer avatars and TV leads, but mostly avatars, okay? They're probably 30 days to, could be 60 or 90 days, and some might be even more. There's a few thousand of those. So you might see in Platinum a lead that was called back in December, all right? We set a parameter for how many times each lead is dialed, okay? And it's set differently for each campaign. So it actually goes backwards, where in Ultra, we'll dial it out of, I think it's 25 times. And then that lead is pulled out of rotation. And don't quote me on the time, but that's a fair guess. In Platinum, we'll dial it maybe 30 times. And I think in Gold, we'll dial it, I think, 30 or 32 times. So it just depends on when we refresh the list. Meaning, we go down, we're dialing, and then that list is spent. We're going to refresh it. All right? So you see, we can call these people a lot of times, but we might not call Mary Smith in Gold. We might dial her today. She might not answer today. We might get her answer machine today. We might not dial her again until a week and a half from now, maybe 2 weeks from now after we refresh the list, because it's not going to call her again unless we refresh that list. So hopefully you understand, a little bit of the schematics of the leads. But at the end of the day, I see, the leads, I'll pull the leads, I'll pull the calls and look at the call history. And based on the dispositions, there's a lot of, and I'm not trying to sell you guys on the gold leads. I'm going somewhere with this, but there's a lot of gold leads and a ton of platinum leads that are NTVAs when I pull them. And they might be, that means, not available. So that means they've been called upon a million times, but no one's talked to them. And when we get sales out of gold, I like kind of looking at when did I develop the lead or buy it, who talked to that lead. I'll be honest, I do like to see if my two vets in the office, pitched them, and if a newbie closed them. And it happens. Listen, it's all about striking when the iron's hot. It's getting that customer in the right time, the right frame of mind, with the right agent. It really is. So, at the end of every month, I go back into my inventory of leads. So, for example, every day that I get leads in July, I have a file on my computer. And I simply upload the file into the dialer, and then I upload it into the July TV lead file. In September, or at the end of September, I'm going to go back into this month's new lead inventory, and I'm going to dump those leads into Platinum. I'm going to go, at the end of September, I'm also going to go back into our lead inventory. I'm going to go back 5 months, and I'm going to dump those leads into Gold. So you see, it's kind of like almost like a slinky, a rotation. Does everybody follow me so far, or at least have an idea, an understanding? If you don't, please speak up. No one's going to fault you. I want you to understand the system. Or if you have any questions. All right, cool. One of the reasons I brought up the lead types is because, I don't know if some of you saw, but Gina, I wish she was on here. I hope she gets on here. She does tend to start late. She's in Texas, so it's 8:30 her time, but, 8:30 should be up rock and rolling anyways. That's my opinion. But she does tend to like to work late. We have a few people on here. I know Rodney will put in some extra time. I hate to give props to someone who misses these calls, but I think this is important at least. We were chatting back and forth. I got home, 6:30 last night. And when I left the office, she was pretty hot in a call. I told her who to go with. She was that far along. I said, go with this. I think American Home Life graded. And, she made a classic rookie mistake that's super frustrating for us and for her. And she quoted the person level. That's a big difference. So she lost the sale. And I listened to it. It was a sale. So, it stings. That was 5:30 her time. This is one thing that's going to separate the great from the good. She got right back on. Now, I didn't even know this. I honestly thought, based on typical performance of everybody, of agents, I should say, that, all right, I'll call it a day. So I went, we made dinner, I did a webinar, I sit down, and whatever time it was, let's see, because she private messaged me. Come on. So it was around 7:30, 6:30 her time. So an hour later, she jumped on. An hour later, busted out that $700 Americo deal. After that, she still stayed on. She got right back on. Now, everybody comes to our program, and I explain that here's our bare minimum. This is what we're looking for. And I'm going to correlate, again, this at the end of the call, but the bare minimum is going to give you the bare minimum. And Gina still has some work to do. She's still new. And yeah, she makes mistakes. But I'll tell you, she's got a nice fat check coming tomorrow from Americo. I think she has like 3 or 4 cases that have paid out. So even though she gets on a little later and she works a little later, We chat, we talk. The office, we went out 4th of July weekend, Friday. We went to lunch, Marcus, Lauren, and Jeff. And I was talking to her when I sat down because we had an issue with one of her AmeriCorps cases, and I had to withdraw it. And it was a big case. And she was hoping to get paid on it. It was one of her first cases. But we had to withdraw it to redo it because there was a problem with her license. Being a holiday weekend, it didn't make it any easier. I actually think she was fighting back tears if she wasn't tearing up. And, I get it. It's new. You're counting on the money. You want to make it happen. I didn't hear it out of frustration. I heard it out of, aggravation because it's a step backwards. But she kept going with it. She kept fighting for it. She got back on. She made calls on Monday, the 3rd. So my point to this is that even if you're new at this or you're a veteran and you're in a slump, you've got to put in the time. And you've got to, if you mess up a deal, lick your wounds, you got to get back on. When you make a sale, you got to get back on. I see it a lot where a sale's made and there's a long pause. I'm just saying everybody came to this program for multiple reasons. And the majority of those reasons are, and tell me if I'm wrong, you like the idea of working from home. You like the idea of not paying an enormous amount of money to get into this program. You like being able to talk to people over and over again. You like having the ability, because it's a dialer and you can talk to more people, to make as much money as you want or that you possibly can, but without putting in the ridiculous amount of time you would, let's say, in the field driving around and, you want to write 10,000 this week? Great, I'm your manager. I'm going to tell you what to do. Double the lead order, which means more money, and you better work 7 days a week, which means time away from your family. And if you don't have a family and you're single, that's just hard anyways. Where here you can put that kind of time in without killing yourself, without coming home at 9 o'clock at night exhausted and drained. But as everybody knows, you can say it, but unless you do it, it's not going to happen. And if you're new, it's going to be even harder. And you're going to have to not only put the time in, but learn as you go. Ask a lot of questions. It's okay to be frustrated, but if you're going to get frustrated, make sure you apply what's being taught. Because when we, here in the office, when we see new agents or our agents complain, ask for help, listen to us, and then don't do it, we're just as frustrated. Because honestly, we're frustrated for you, but we also feel like we're wasting our time. So, I'm not trying to make this, all about work your tail off, but you guys get that. You have the ability. Now, Prosperity, which is a pretty lenient company, I'm starting to see that they're picking up their payouts. It looks like they're paying out pretty quick. I used to tell everybody, listen, when you sell Prosperity, give it 2 weeks before you get paid. They're doing it in about 2 to 4 days now. Now, it just started. But regardless, at the end of the day, the Aptical's open 7 days a week now. And I leave the gold leads on all the time. So you're welcome to jump on there. Now, I will tell you, because you're the only one on, let's say maybe on a Saturday or a Sunday, it may seem like it's running a little slower. But if you got nothing going on, if you're just going to sit around and watch TV, put in an hour or two. You might get lucky. I hated working Saturdays when I was in the field because I liked my weekends. But the main reason I hated working Saturdays, and Jeff can attest to this because he would do the same thing, it was hit or miss. I'd either write 15 to 1,800 working 10 to 2, 10 to 3, or I'd come home and I didn't even have a presentation in. I felt like I wasted my Saturday. So I get the feeling, but if you don't try, you're guaranteed never to make that extra sale. Never to add a couple $100, $400 to your week. You got to think of it in perspective of money, not what you're doing. So
one way to think about it, Todd, too, is for everybody, is the mindset is that if you get a sale, there's a phrase out there, and it's from a book. Somebody told me about it. I didn't read it, but you didn't get to enough no's. So, you got a yes, but you still haven't done your no's. So get through more no's. Just keep going. And that's the thing is, but even if you failed, like if you do go on a Saturday or if you work late, chances are that it's still the ratio of time that you put in to sales. And I bet you the next morning you probably pop one off. I mean, that's just how it goes. So, that's the other thing to think about too, is if you really think in the long range, I've always used to do this because I'd be like, man, I put in all these hours, worked on Saturdays and blah, blah, blah. I didn't get anything on Saturday. Maybe I had a bad day Friday. And then the next thing you know, Monday morning, there's just a really great sale that happens. And then when you go, that's the other thing is you got to ride that wave like Todd was saying. You got to ride that wave, man. When you get that sale, it's the same mentality as the people that used to, talk to us when we first started. A salesperson with $100 bill in their pocket is a better salesperson than they are without that $100 bill. You could be a salesman and you put your hand in your pocket and you feel that $100 bill in there. You feel a little bit better, don't you? So that's kind of the whole idea, is that you get a little more pep in your step when you're selling, when you just got a sale, and then you go from there. When you get that motivation, you're gonna actually, and you may not even realize it, but your way you come across on the phone and everything is a lot different, and you may not even realize it. So, my 2 cents.
No, that's great. It really is true. There's a reason why new agents fail at everything more than a veteran agent, because a veteran agent's still doing it. New agents have a lot more they have to learn and deal with. And let's face it, if you're making good money where you're at, you're not contacting me. So we get it. It's not working. And we get frustrated too when people come to our program and they don't join these chats when they're new. And I'm not putting that on Gina. I'm saying there's a few people that should be on here. We try and help and they give excuses. And I just been at this so long where I know one of my faults is I tune out pretty quick to stuff like that. Just because it's right here. You came to us for a reason. Take it. Take it or leave it. Because we got other people that need the help. So anyways, we got off track here, but hopefully you guys, any questions on the campaigns or the leads or anything like that?
I'll bring up one thing just so we get it out of the way, because I know that every time we have this call, we're going to have to bring it up, and it's just because there's people that aren't on, and it's frustrating to have to do that. But just remember, guys, especially on gold leads, that you have to search the customer you're talking to before you put it in Pipe. So just do a quick search, and everyone should know where the search bar is in Pipe. If they don't, please. It's kind of hard to find when you look at it because it's shaded, but it's at the top there. And just type in the last name or whatever. Search that person, and if it comes up, you see that it's been sold. You can private message or put it in every one thing. Say, hey, this is a previous sale I'm going, and you can still keep talking to the customer, going through everything, and then have the agent verify if it's still active or not. But a lot of times too, you'll see that the call, if you'll see something that says Royal Neighbors or if it says America or something like that in leads range, then that was a previous sale. Again, same thing. If you can't find it on Pipe, chances are it's an older sale, and just go for it then at that point. But I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. And the other thing, no callback. Disposition. Don't do it, please, guys. Do not hit that. What it does is it locks that call out of everybody, and it just sits in limbo, and it'll never be dialed again unless you pick that back up and redisposition it. So what happens is
I see a culprit. I see a guilty party.
So, I'm just saying. You guys, I would have done the same thing if I see that feature and I'm new. I would hit that because I'm thinking that's what I should do. It's a long story, but anyway, just don't do it because it kills it for everybody else that has the opportunity to get that call. Most of the time when a customer says, I'm walking out the door, can you call me back? They're, pardon the expression, they're bullshitting you. So you know that, and you got to try to overcome that. If you can't, then put it in NTAV. If they say, well, call me back next week, that's another BS thing. Come on, guys. They're not that busy. These people are either going to the doctor or they're sitting watching Maury. Either one. That's the only thing they're doing. So what you want to do is make sure that you NTAV those, and then put in your calendar. Just put in your own personal calendar, call back this lady at a certain time, and you do that on your own. And that way, if it pops up again and you forget to call them, or whatever happened, you didn't get a hold of them the second time, someone else will have that chance. Because I'll tell you right now, anyone that tells you to call them back at 3 o'clock in the afternoon is giving you an excuse not to be able to pick up that phone at that time. I'm telling you guys, it just doesn't work. Callbacks do not work. Mm-mm. That's the biggest thing, guys. And only thing is you can do a callback is if, you got the bank info and there's some, I don't know, who knows? Give me an example, guys. I don't know, something like, my daughter has it or whatever.
Their minutes ran out.
Like that. So minutes ran out. Yeah, that's a good one. You guys, these people have their Obama phone still, and the thing is that their minutes run out, so they don't have any other source of talking to them. So that's the only other way. And again, don't chase the customer. If you chase the customer, you're wasting your time again. So just go to the next one. I always say, if you're chasing the customer, that's just more time you could have been on the dialer. The idea is don't focus so much on that one that you think, this is a nice lady, I got to say. Get to the next call, move on. Every once in a while, call that person back, but don't dwell on it. So.
And let me say, don't put them in the calendar here in Same Page. We use the calendar here for sales to remind you and Lauren of the day before their sale. So use your Google Calendar, or I have a big desk calendar on my wall. I just tacked it up. I just write stuff on there. So,
or some people are putting it in Pipe too, which I would understand that if you're used to a CRM, that's what something you do. Remember, the Pipe Drive is not individual to each person. Does not have an individual account with Pipe Drive here, so that's all going out there anyway, and to everyone to see. So just use your own calendar for that.
Yep. Well, this is a good segue, Jeff, because the biggest thing I want to talk to you today is, what I said in the beginning, getting into call volume, but not getting into presentations. And I was chatting with Melinda yesterday, and I noticed, she's like killing it. She's got like 100 calls in by lunch, but I knew right away, no full-on presentations. She's running the same leads, the same campaign as everybody else, or campaigns. So I thought this would be good to make this more of a group effort to not only help her, but I think it's just good to speak it versus think it on how we can get more conversations going. And one thing I want to do, because here at my desk, I've got computers up, and I watch you guys all day long on my end. I listen in all day long. And so I also see people's patterns all day long. So I did not prep him on this. I did not ask him to do this. And if you don't want to speak, that's fine. You can be a party pooper. But I will say that I do notice that Rodney and Marcus and Jeff, they say the same thing. This dude is always in a call. He is always in a presentation. And at the end of the day, when we developed this system, that was the idea, was it's not really, it is all about all the numbers, but it's not just the amount of calls you take. It's the amount of calls you take combined with the amount of presentations you do that will get you to the amount of sales you make a day. It all has to work together. And, Rodney is mastered and continues to get better at that, where he is always in a call. And I know what he does, but I thought, Rodney, if you could chime in so I can take a break and just give us some pointers on, when people say things, because I'm sure whatever you run into objection-wise, everybody else is, whether they're new or a veteran. But I think for sure, especially for Melinda, this will help to get her into talking to more people.
Sure. Thank you, Todd. Well, real quick, I came from a call center that we did telesales, and they were it was a square box. You couldn't go outside the square box. And when you talk to a customer, you were not allowed to disconnect the customer until they hung up on you. So I got the idea that in order for me to succeed, I had to follow the instructions, in which I did, but it was just too stressful for me. So what I'm doing, I just follow the basic procedure with Todd. Then when he tells me to follow the script to the T, I do. I go from the very beginning. I ask them if they're convicts, all the way down to the closing. And if the customer in the very beginning tells me that he or she is not interested, I try to find out specific as to why. And I don't try to overcome that too much, but I want to move on to the next call. And that's all I do. I mean, I just keep going and keep going and keep going. Other than that, I just follow that script all the way down to the T. That's all I do.
And let me chime in there because I want to elaborate on that. So there's a difference between bulldozing through your script to the point where you're not even listening to the customer. You're just like, okay, Todd says I got to just keep on the script. I'm just going to keep going with the script, and you're not listening. Where I will say, Rodney will acknowledge objections, hear them, but won't even change the inflection in his tone to where it might be a negative or, irritation or aggravation. He just acknowledges it, and then he keeps on going with the script. Now, this will come over time where you'll know when just to cut ties. Were you going to say something, Rodney?
Yeah, I mean, when I was at the other call center, like you said, Todd, one thing that was taught very well is that when a customer gave you objection, you didn't want to fight that customer. You didn't want to do anything to cause that customer to hang up. You acknowledge whether they have coverage. You always praise them, but you always pivot back right away to the script. I mean, wherever you left off, you just went back to the script and you moved along. That's what I want to say.
Yeah, that's it. And, and if anybody else has anything to chime in, go ahead and say it or just chime in. But, the thing with our program, especially, Melinda and even John, who, when you're first starting on the program, I know, John, you have some sales. You've been at this and, for longer than Melinda. But, even Lisa, I know you're down a little bit right now. The idea is going back to what Jeff was saying is it's that old saying, you got to act as if. When I get on the phone, which is rare, and I love it, I have fun with it. So when I do get on the phone, I have fun with it. And I don't sweat anything. Now, it's easier for me. I get it. I have you guys. I'm not getting paid from the sky, so I get it, But even when I was in the field and it was all really based on me, at the end of the day, I always went out just knowing I have all day to make one sale. That's it. I just have to make one sale. And if I do it early on, I'm going to go and get another one because the sun's still shining and I still got time. If it takes me till the end of the day, it sucks, but I hit my goal. It's the same thing here. Your goal is not to write 3 or 4 deals a day. Your goal is just to write one deal a day, and you're going to make a better than average living. But you have to start with your mentality, your mindset, your work ethic. It's all of that combined. And for new agents, it's overwhelming. And then you also have to learn the system. I know someone yesterday said, oh my gosh, I'm still trying to figure out how to, manage pipe and follow the script and do this and that. It takes time. You just got to do it. I think we're going to lose. At least I'm seeing my same page is going to restall in a second. I don't know if you guys see that. Oh, let me postpone it. There we go. But my point is that what Rodney was saying is when you get the objection, which how many times on the calls do you typically get an objection percentage-wise? I mean, when you first talk to someone, how many times are they going to give you an objection?
Are you talking about in the very, very beginning that
Yeah.
they are not interested?
Yeah.
More than 50 at least. I mean, they always give me an objection. I mean, always. They say that the main objection they always get is they already have something.
Well,
that's great.
Let me break that down real quick because remember, this is a mindset. just like I always say, listen, you guys got to hear what they're really saying. And Rodney, as good as you are at this, I know just by your percentage, we're thinking an objection is a no. An objection is, I don't remember. This isn't a good time. I'm busy. I already have some. But an objection could be as little as, I don't remember. I never called you. The reason I say that is because an objection in our mind is a no. It's that feeling you get when you hear, I'm not interested. So even when they say, I don't remember, you automatically, I know it, you feel like, oh, okay, now I got to fight to get this sale. You have to be prepared on every single call to receive an objection.
Yep.
That's where your rebuttals come in. And you cannot look at an objection as something negative or bad. It's part of sales. Truly good salespeople, they like getting objections because they know the rebuttals, but they know what rebuttals to say to get the answers that they need to close the person. And then it makes the sale even easier. A hard sale is a laydown, or what you think may be a laydown. Some of you may have already talked to people like this where you're like, oh my God, this is going great. This is awesome. And then you lose it at the end, where they just will not give you the bank info until the 3rd of next month. They just won't do it. And you're like, oh, I don't know what happened. I lost it. The laydowns are the ones you really got to be on your game, or the potential, what you think are laydowns. But you have to want to embrace objections, and it's going to take a little while for some of you to really understand this and get it, like the light bulb will go off. But objections are ways for you to ask them questions to get the answers to close them. You know, I'm not interested. Well, I won't expect you to be interested. That's why I'm calling you back. Remember, they're warm leads. They're people asking for information. They're not asking for quotes. We never use quotes. That's for car insurance people. We have to give them information and help them make a decision. And you can't do that if you don't open up properly, if you don't get into conversation. So first off, number one lesson is you're going to get objections, embrace it. Be ready for it, right? It's like in football. If you're a lineman and you're terrified of getting hit, you're not going to make it very long. You're not going to make it. If you look at NFL players and they're sitting there, they almost have like an aggressive grin on their face when they're in their three-point stance, which is, down on the ground and the camera gets a close-up. They love it. Hit me. Hit me. I want to show you I'm stronger. I'm going to push you back. That's how I look at objections. Give me an objection, Miss Jackson. Lay it on me, baby, because I'm going to come back with a rebuttal. Now, I know rebuttals. So you have to have them ready. Are you going to be good at them, even reading them? No. But I know from experience early on, when I started just saying the rebuttals, I started to see progress. I started to see a change in the customer. So if you're not even comfortable on, you should be, if all you on this call right now should be, boom, click the rebuttals, click the rebuttals. If you're not like that yet, then that tells me that you're not using the rebuttals. Even vets, I say it all the time in here. You got to go over your rebuttals because you're going to find something you haven't used in a while. You can use a good rebuttal that closes all the time. It will get stagnant. It will. You're like, man, you're going to say, I don't know what's going on. Then you're going to start blaming the leads. Then you're going to start blaming the people, the weather, everything. It's just you get stagnant. You got to use a different rebuttal. And you have to rebuttal with emotion and a smile and like you just don't care. It's easier said than done. Easier said than done. I get it. That's where you have to be able to play it off. That's where you have to dig down deep and be an actress or an actor and really just have fun with it. Because guess what? Damn it, I wish Gina was on this call. It's one call. If you don't get it, you're on to the next call. See, in the field, if you don't get it, you got to go back to your car, You got to go through your leads. You know, have a smoke, stop at Speedway, get a big gulp, drive to your next sale or next house. You know, that takes time. There's nothing you can do about it except don't smoke, don't stop at Speedway, get your ass back in the car and get going. But still, that takes time. We're here. You click the hang up, disposition, boom, you're on to the next call. It's that simple. That's what's simple about this program. But it's a lot harder mentally and emotionally to do telesales than it is in the field. You want to say something, Jeff? Or
No. It was one little thing. Yeah, that's when I'm unmuting my thing because yeah, you're right. I did want to say something real quick. Oh man, what was it? Crap. Oh, I know what it was. So this is something funny. It's kind of funny, but it's usually true. I think you guys will get a kick out of it. The people that always say at the beginning of the call, "Yeah, I got to get some life insurance. I don't want to, right off the bat. I don't want to. Oh my God, I don't want that on my kids. Yeah. No, definitely. I need to get me some life insurance." Tell me how many times those are the folks that usually we can't either. They're not eligible because they have Direct Express or they wanted $500,000 worth of coverage, stuff like that. So just beware of that, guys. The ones where don't get all excited, when because you want to go through everything properly and just keep an even keel. And when Todd was saying, I think it was something along the lines of not caring about, not giving. In other words, I guess another way to put it is like yesterday, I had this sale, and it was one of those ones where I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna not give a crap about this. I'm gonna go through it. I didn't mean it. Not meaning.
It's hard to distinguish the meaning.
It's a fine line.
Yeah.
It's hard to understand or explain. And like Todd was saying, it's one of those things where you don't give a crap because not because you're not putting the effort into getting the sale, but you're acting like you don't like you don't care if this you're coming across to the person as if you don't care, as if you're just doing this as an everyday thing, and you're just blah blah blah, and you're just going right through it. So that's kind of the mentality you have to learn. It's a hard thing to learn, but once you understand it, you'll get what I'm trying to say.
Is that the 2-hour call you're talking about, Joe?
Well, yeah, I mean, Marcus, but Jesus,
Talk about making a friend.
Well, I mean, that one was a tough one, and that was a little. I don't recommend to do what I did with that call. I swung for the fence with the lady, and it didn't pan out. But anyway, we still got her. So
let me give you guys an example, and then I want to, because Melinda, you still may be going, yeah, this is all great, but how do I get into a call? I'm going to get into that. I'll try and make this short, but what Jeff and I are talking about, about not caring and all that. And I tell people, like, listen, you got to have fun. You got to get into it. You got to get emotional. Like that customer goes, oh, yeah, I got to get some insurance. I don't want to leave that to my family. When I'm on the phone with that person, right away, I'm already thinking, all right, Todd, it's go time. It's time to turn on the actor. It's time to get emotional and have fun with this. And so I'm on our HOA board, our homeowner association, and this is like the 5th or 6th year in a row I'm doing our block party. On the way in this morning, I stopped because it's this Saturday, and I'm passing out flyers through the neighborhood, and I'm just thinking, believe it or not, you see my videos, my YouTube videos and all that, and I'm going to get a little personal here, but I'm actually, and Jeff's going to laugh too, but I'm a little bit of an introvert. A little bit. No, right. Here's what I mean. So, and this is going to correlate to you guys selling, because here's the difference. I can, on the phone, yuck it up, have fun. I think, who was I talking? Lisa, I think it was your deal last week. Yours or Gina's, one of your guys' and I just know I wanted to send you your call, and when you transferred them to me, my end, because when I got on when you transferred them, I was like, all right, I got to spice this up a little bit. And I just talk like I'm talking right now. And I explained to her what's going to happen on the call. And I said, I don't think her name was Carol, so I said, all right, Carol, you ready to get this party started? She's like, yeah. You know, I mean, nothing wrong.
Sent me the call.
Yeah, nothing wrong with it. But here's my point. So I'm passing out flyers, and you know, when I do stuff like the block party, I know that I'm going to be on display. You know, we have 200 residents. I know it's going to be great. I mean, we went all out this year. You know, bounce houses, food trucks, all this stuff. And you know, as much as I want to hang out and have fun, I know as president and putting on the block party, this is also a time where neighbors who are new, I got to go introduce myself. I'm going to have to listen to complaints, and I'm really not into listening to complaints when I'm trying to hang out and have a good time, and I shut down. So my point is, and I don't know if I'm coming across or not, but I know what I do is I shut down. I get shy. I act really busy so I don't have to talk to people, because when I do talk to people, I might not come off genuine, or I might say something wrong. You see where I'm going? I'm like, I get nervous, and I get quiet. And you know, where my neighbors right around me, they're having a good time because they're there. They know I'm in charge of it, so you know, they'll joke around, which we all joke around. But maybe there's some neighbors from another division that are hanging with us, and my neighbors start, you know, joshing and teasing me and doing that. All this stuff I'm thinking while I'm passing out the flyers, and I'm telling myself, dude, just relax, be yourself, have fun. I like this guy, and I think a lot of people like this guy. I know when I shut down, I come off as somewhat arrogant. Like people say, oh, you know, yeah, that too. But it's the same thing when you're selling. More customers are going to like you when you're outgoing in this business. That's why when I get on a call, even if I get a little intimidated, like I'm thinking at the block party, I got to remind myself, dude, just relax, have fun. Who cares? Who cares? I got another call right after this. And I know if I just act like that, even this weekend, I'm going to go talk to more people. I'm going to have more fun because I won't be so uptight and nervous, worried about what are people saying behind my back. You know, do they like the job I'm doing? Did I miss it at the block party? No, it's a block party. No one else around us even does a block party. I could rent one blow up thing and throw up some Kool-Aid and lemonade. It'll still be a good time. But you see what I mean? When you're on a call, you're so worried about how you're coming off, saying the wrong thing. How are you acting? When just have fun with it because you have nothing to lose. And that's the idea with gold leads. Gold leads, there's like 5,000-6,000 leads. Have fun with it. Test your personality out. Test out remarks, jokes, anything. Just relax.
Especially do that right after you get a sale, because that's kind of what I was getting at, where you don't care type thing. And I can explain it a little bit better. If you've got 3 or 4 sales that you're waiting to get paid on, you're in a little bit better mood than you are when you don't have any. So it comes across, especially when you used to do, anyone here who used to do field sales at the front door. You know, we didn't call and invite. We went to the front door with the card in our hand and said, "Hey, you sent this card in." But you know, if you just got a sale, you got a little more pep in your step, and it comes across because they can see you. If you're on the phone, it's harder for that to come across, but it's easier when you've got a couple sales. Your voice, it comes across in your voice, and how you joke around and mess around with someone. You know, that's the whole idea, is to joke around with these people and do that. That's the thing to do, and especially, I guess the easiest way to say it is right after you get a sale and you're on to the next call, act like that because you got a little more courage. I guess that's more. Does that help out, Todd?
Yeah. It's always hardest to try and come across starting off, or new agents starting off, when you say, have fun with it, don't care, relax. When I know, you know, Melinda, you may be like, yeah, it's easier for you to say. You know, you'll get it. You'll understand what we're saying. Rodney, you too. You know, you're off and running. You're averaging at least 1 a day. You've got a pipeline, right? Isn't it much more relaxing when you know you have a pipeline?
Oh, absolutely. Especially, you know, when you see those checks coming in daily. on your checking account, or when you make a sale, you feel more relaxed towards the next call. Absolutely.
Even when you have a little commission or a big commission, just getting something deposited, it's motivating. You're going in the right place. It's like, okay, I can do this. I get it. It's very hard to get there, but you got to deep and get there. All right, I don't want to run too long. Let's help really Melinda get into conversation. And I want to start with one thing. What are the two things, and we're not going to go much longer for those of you guys chomping at the bit here, but I have two things I want to go over, this and one more thing. But what are the two things we're offering to our customers? And Melinda, I want you to chime in. This is not, I want to hear what you have to say too, because it's going to help us help you. But what are the two things that we offer our customers? Anyone?
I was going to say peace of mind. Yeah.
Final arrangements.
Yes, final arrangements. I knew someone was going to spit out peace of mind. It's not wrong, but that's the general reaction, and it's semi right. Funeral arrangements is the first one. What's the second one? Very obvious.
Planning.
Well, that's the funeral arrangements. What happens when we die? Two things have to be done.
Oh, you got to pay for it.
Right. So we're only offering two things: planning and insurance. If you're not getting into conversations, and Melinda, you're new at this. You guys understand she's new to insurance. Okay.
Like brand spanking new.
Brand new.
No sale.
Right. So you're in what I call consumer mode, right? Consumer mode is this. Let me ask you, Melinda, and again, just be honest so we can help you. What is it that we're selling?
We're selling final expense insurance.
Right. So when you're talking to a customer, what do you think they're wanting to buy from you?
Insurance.
Just go with your gut.
Insurance, so that when they pass away, their funeral's paid for.
And what do you think their number one worry is when you're talking to them? What's their biggest objection?
That their kids are, what their biggest objection?
Like what holds them back from, like, why can't you sell everybody you talk to?
I don't have the money. I'm on fixed income.
There you go. And so what happens when we start focusing on that?
Then you just don't make a sale. What do you mean? When you
start focusing on their, when you know that their main objection is, and anybody can chime in here, but when you know that their main objection is money, affordability, let's say as a rookie, even veterans, you can chime in. What do you start?
I sent a message on there. If everyone looks at that, they might understand it. Maybe I think that's what you're getting at.
No, you start putting yourself in the same position as the customers, and that's the very wrong thing you should do.
Well, in some instances, you're right, Rodney. In some instances, you do want to be in consumer mode so you can relate better. But my point is that
you're scared about the cost of the insurance.
Exactly.
Before you even tell them about it.
Exactly. You believe they really can't afford it.
I could tell she couldn't afford it.
What's that?
I could tell she couldn't afford it. So
yeah, if you guys have your chat open, go to everyone. That's where we're chatting, and Jeff will see it.
Yeah, I just put that in there just because that's an idea of consumer mode is like, yeah, you know what? She's really tight on her budget. I could just tell that. She's only getting $700 a month, guys. So I couldn't. There's no way she could afford life insurance.
What makes it worse when it was modified, so it was $82 a month, and she just can't afford that. How do you know? Seniors have the most income that's available to them of any group of people.
Remember, their money that they bring in every month doesn't pay your bills. So you can't, and that's what we do. And we don't realize it, that we relate what we can afford to their affordability. All right? And we're saying things like this right now because we just lost an agent who had a ton of potential, wrote some business, but just could not get out of their mindset. Everybody needed a level plan, and it had to be $20 a month. And it's not going to cut it here. But my point is this: is here's another good analogy. I just thought of this. Last night I'm watching The Ultimate Fighter. It's a UFC thing. And this one guy, it was the semifinals, and he lost. And he was supposed to win. And I thought this was pretty cool, and it kind of goes to this theory. I love my analogies. Maybe you guys don't get it, but yeah. But after the interview, after the fight, he was saying, he goes, I'm disappointed in myself. I lost that fight. I went in with a game plan, but, as soon as you get hit, even the best game plans just go out the window, and you just start swinging and trying to survive. It's the same theory when you're not on your game, when you don't know what we're actually offering, when you don't know your rebuttals. As soon as it comes down to money, you can go through this script a million times. I see agents all the time. They can do 10 pitches a day and not close a single person. And it's because when it comes down to money, your game plan goes out the window and you start dropping your pants. Excuse the phrase. You go, well, what can you afford? What can you afford? Just tell me what you can afford. Or, well, here, I have a plan for 1932 for $2,000. I hear it all day. That's throwing the game plan out the window, and you're going to lose the fight. Or, even if you lose the fight, you might continue to fight, and I'm listening going, man, you've been at this for 20 minutes trying to close them on $19. Let's go, move on. It's not, and I'll hear some agents might tell them, well, everybody deserves insurance. You're right, everybody does deserve insurance. But there's some people who will fight you on it. You can close them on that $19. I promise you, they will cancel. It's the small ones that cancel. All the time, right away. So let's get back to my point is, we are not selling final expense life insurance. We are selling peace of mind. We're selling two products, the funeral planning and the insurance. And though money is always on their mind, if it was free, everybody would sign up for it. But what does every other final expense life insurance agent do? 90% of them in this business, they sell life insurance. So you do, no offense, Rodney, you do somewhat have to go into consumer mode. What do you have that's different from everything else they're seeing in the mail, knocking on their door, even getting calls now? Like, I know there's only a handful of final expense groups that have a funeral planning program. And we've been doing it for 10 years now. I don't know if I could sell just life insurance because with the funeral plan, there's so many doors. Now, Melinda, this is where it's going to help you. Only an hour and 10 minutes later, this is what's going to help you is, one, let's add it up. So first thing is, today you're going to get objections. Everybody. You're going to get an objection, and you need to embrace it. You got to be ready for it. The second thing is, you got to ask questions. And you have to acknowledge the objections and keep going with the script. But when I say ask questions, it's just like that laydown that says, I got to get life insurance. I don't want to leave this to my kids. My question right away, even when Jeff said that, my brain said, all right, I'm going to ask him. How many kids do you have? How old are they? Any grandkids? And I'm going to build up eventually, like to the point of, hey, have you ever had to plan a loved one's funeral, pay for a loved one's funeral? Whether it's yes or no, I'm going to bring the kids back into it. Now, Melinda, this is going to take some time, but you're not going to get good at that until you get into presentations. The way to get into presentations is, one, understand you're going to have objections and have your rebuttals ready, not get upset, not get irritated. The second thing is, what is the number one question you should go to? And anybody can answer this. In the beginning of a call, it doesn't matter the objection. I'll let you guys throw me opening objections all day today, and I'll show you that this number one rebuttal will always at least get a conversation going.
Do you have all your funeral and burial arrangements planned out yet?
Right. Out of everybody on this call, we've all been to a funeral one time or another, I'm assuming. Maybe even lost someone real close to us. How many of those people who have passed do you know at least had all of their final arrangements taken care of. 90% of the time is going to be none. Now, someone asked me the other day, well, what if I ask them if they have their funeral and burial? Actually, Lisa, I think it was you. What if they have their funeral and burial and final arrangements? They say, yeah, I've got that taken care of. You have to ask it again a different way because it will happen. You know how I know this is true? When I had my in-house telemarketers, we can hear them all day long. We had offices on either end of the office, and they were right in the middle, in the pit, we called it. So us agents, we can hear our telemarketers developing our leads. And it was constant where they would they'd ask for the person, say who they are, give their opening monologue, hear the objection, and they would say, well, let me ask you a question. Do you have your funeral, burial, and final arrangements planned out yet? And then they would say, oh, so you do have your funeral, burial, and final arrangements planned out? Because the customer's not really listening. They just want to get you off the phone. So they're going to say, yeah, I got that taken care of. It goes back to, I use this all the time. When you go into the mall and you walk into Macy's and that lady comes up, hi, can I help you find something today? No, just looking. No, you're not. No one goes to the mall and goes into Macy's just to look. You may be going to look to see if the price is right on that blouse or that golf shirt. And if it is right, what are you going to do? You're going to buy it. You just don't want that lady to push you because she's going to take you over. They don't take you to the clearance section. I just went to Target this Saturday to buy some new t-shirts. And I went to the clearance section first. It's a friggin' t-shirt. The 3-pack of Hanes t-shirts was $28. I'm like, what? You see what I mean? So you have to understand we're not selling life insurance. When someone says, oh, I already have insurance, what do you say? And you can chime in, anyone?
That's great.
That's it. Congratulate them. You know why? Because most other insurance agents, they're not going to acknowledge and proceed. They're not going to say, that's great. Most people I talk to do have some insurance. They're going to say something along the lines of, oh, well, you can never have enough. Right there, you're selling based on your needs and wants, not theirs. Okay? You have to think differently. You have to think like a consumer, but you also have to, again, be different. That's great. Most people I talk to do have something in place. What's my next statement? Question.
Oh, that's where I was getting tripped up, was like, I'd read a rebuttal and then I wouldn't know where to go next with it.
Go to the next rebuttal down.
Okay.
Yeah, the rebuttals are, I tried to put them in order of how I would use them. And you don't want to, and I'm not saying you do this, I'm saying even when you give a rebuttal, you got to put a smile on your face. Because it's going to come off irritated and aggravated. But even when they say I have that taken care of and you congratulate them on it, what's the next thing you want to ask them? This has got to be automatic.
How long have you had your policy?
No. Because
how much coverage do you have?
No. Okay, let's stop right here. This is great. So remember, we're at the beginning of a call. We're at the beginning of the call where they go, I already got insurance.
Oh. Okay,
what you just did, Lisa, which is, it's happening, you're jumping ahead in the script, and that's where I'm going, no, stay on script. Someone help me out. Come on.
Do you have your funeral and final arrangements planned out yet?
Remember, guys, this is what I'm saying is any objection they give you in the beginning of a call, you can use this. When we had the cubicles of telemarketers, I had this right in front of their face on their cubicle wall, taped up. Even if they said, I would say to some marketers, they just keep giving me excuses. I go, even if they go jump in a lake, I'd say, okay, but before that, let me ask you a question. Do you have your funeral, burial, and final arrangements planned out yet? No. Or even if they say, yeah, I got all that. They're not listening to you, so say it again. Oh, you do have your funeral, burial, and final arrangements planned out? Well, no, I got insurance, though. Now, this is where I will say, you're going to get off script a little bit. because you can't just leave it there. All right? We used to have this in the script. I'm wondering if we should put it back in. But the next follow-up question should be, well, what if we had a program that was low cost and affordable, ding, 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 music to their ears, plus took care of all your funeral and burial arrangements for free? Would that be of interest to you? Now, that is in your rebuttals. But I would have those 3 questions ready to go all the time right then. Okay? And then, if anything, you'll get them to say, well, I'll listen. That's what you want. That's all I want. I just want you to listen. Because if you can't do your job, you can't close them. So you need them to listen to you. It's just like, again, going back to the field, when we would be at the door, I would tell brand new agents, listen, when you go to the door, you cannot think, I got to sell this person life insurance. You've got to think about why they sent that card in. If you've ever seen a final expense card, and the many that are out there, not a one says, send this card in so an insurance guy can come to your house, knock on your door, come in and sell you life insurance. That would be a freaking great lead, but it would never get a return. I could probably sell them for $500 a pop, but it doesn't. It says send this in for free, no obligation information in one way or another. And agents, they don't look at their product, the card. The card doesn't say, come and sell me life insurance. It says, send me the information so I can look it over and make a decision. The only difference is that we're just nudging them along, right? How many people, most of you guys on the phone, how many people have you talked to and they go, well, I got this, you hear, I got this Colonial Penn here, says I can get $10,000 for $35. I got this Global Life here. You guys heard that?
Yeah.
Right? But they haven't done anything. They haven't done anything. They have it. That's it. Even if they tell you they just got it yesterday, I promise you they didn't. It's been sitting on their coffee table. Why? We've been in these people's houses. So when they totally just lost my train of thought. Oh, so when we would go to the door, I would tell my new agents, act as if you're getting paid by the hour and you're just there to deliver the information they requested. The only difference is you just need to explain it to them real quick. And that's where this phrase came from. What you do with the information when I'm done is entirely up to you. If you like what I hear today, great. If not, I'll be on my way. Fair enough? And that's what got us in the door. Every time I went out with a struggling agent, they were at the door selling life insurance. They weren't doing what the customer requested. But if they did what the customer requested, and I would have customers go, all right, I only got 10 minutes. I loved it when those people said that. Those were the ones I would buy or I would sell. Because as soon as you walked through the door, am I right, Jeff? As soon as you walked through the door, their whole aura changed. It was like you walked into another world with them. At the door, they were all, nope, I'm not interested. I have life insurance. This isn't a good time. You should call me first. I don't let anybody into my house. It's kind of the same thing on the phone. I don't do anything over the phone. I got insurance. I can't afford anything. That's great. But you requested this information. So I'm just calling to let you know what you qualify for. All right? Takes a few minutes. What you do with the information when I'm done, that's entirely up to you. Fair enough? You just want to get into the pitch. The pitch will work, but you got to get them to talk. And you can't get them to talk by saying, you can never have enough life insurance. You don't know what you can afford unless you hear about. You got to at least give them a little substance. And that's asking questions. Hey, do you have this? Well, what if I had this? Would that be of interest to you? You notice I'm saying that. I'm not saying, would you be interested in that? That's going back to, they're going to say no. Why would they be interested? They don't know anything about it. But if you tell them what you have to offer, that may be of interest to them to look at it, to listen, to hear about it. That's how you're going to get into your pitch.
The other thing too is that everyone has to know this, and it should always be something in the back of their mind. You're not the first person that they talk to, guys.
Never.
Okay, never. You know, they've had people knock on the door, and there's not one person, I guarantee. Well, I'm going to say 99% of the people that you talk to have had someone knock on their door or call them about it. Especially if they're 70 years old and they don't have life insurance, that's another thing that may help out with people that say they don't have any. Those are the ones that are the toughest ones. The ones that have life insurance are the ones are buyers. They got most likely they got a bank account if they already got coverage. They got some, but they don't have enough. Man, you better be on your game on that one. The people that don't have any coverage and they're 71 years old, that's where your hard work comes into play. Well, let me ask you a question, Ms. Smith. It sounds to me like you probably had a couple people stop by and talk to you about this, right? Oh yeah, I told them I couldn't afford it. I said, so basically, you're just saying that the only reason why you didn't get anything in place is because of that, or ask them if they didn't say that. Say, well, how come you didn't get any? What was wrong with the last plan? Let them talk and explain. You see, so you can write this stuff down. Say, so you just haven't found anything that you like. So if I had a plan that you liked, that you needed and you can afford, and you like me too, of all those things you agree to, would you be able to make a decision on something like that then today? Yeah, they're most likely going to say yeah.
Well, let's role play on that, because I'm thinking of something we run into a lot. No, I couldn't do anything today.
Not asking you to do anything today, Mr. Daviso. All I'm asking is just to share the information with you. Right. But if I had a plan that you liked, you needed, you could afford, would that be of help to your family?
For sure, yeah. You see there, again, I'm going back to they're thinking money. You got to take that off the table. Only discuss money when the pitch tells you to. Only discuss how we pay the bill when the pitch tells you to. If you do it ahead of time, especially the newer you are, I promise you will not get that sale. I promise you that. Okay?
I don't let anybody get into my account right off the bat. They say that. I'm not asking you to do anything like that. All I'm asking is to share the information with you. If you like what I got to say about it, great. If not, I'll be on my way. Again, just like, and Marcus always says this, and it helps me out too, but agree and proceed.
Yeah. That's it. Especially today. We had a pretty decent Monday yesterday, but today I hope you guys are taking away from this the fact that, listen, just try to get presentations in. Calls, yes, but know this, right? We're going to get objections. I'm going to be ready for them, and I'm going to ask questions, and I'm not going to stress about what they say. That's part of the job, okay? So understand, Melinda, we got to change your mindset, and I'm going to work with you today. But we got to change your mindset on, listen, when we die, it is not about life insurance. So there's two types of people you're going to run into. They have life insurance. They don't have life insurance. Let me ask you, Melinda, just so I can gauge where you're at with this right now, and be honest. First gut reaction. First answer that comes to your mind. Who's a better customer? Who do we want to deal with? No coverage or some coverage?
Some coverage.
Good. See, we're on the right track. Because
I read through.
Oh, you went through my training. Okay, so
I read.
All right, that's a good cheat.
Attention.
That's good. That's a good cheating. I like it. So what you know, if you get someone who has no coverage, you better be on your game. That means you take a breath, step back a little bit, just go from A to B to C to D, follow the pitch. Make sure you're asking a lot of questions, not only of the customer, but also on here, online. Remember, guys, I'm going to give a quick side note. If you need help with a customer, you got to have it in pipe. Please don't type it out on same page. It's just, it's frustrating to us because now we're nervous we're going to give you the wrong answer.
Well, that's the one thing that, when we went over this on our first call we had with some of these guys, Rodney does it the best way. He followed exactly. He says, hey, take a look at this, guys. I think I've got an idea. I'm saying, hey, he's saying what he thinks it is, instead of saying, hey, can you help me with this, and not even trying. Because you guys are going to probably get what looks like a smart aleck remark saying, well, did you read the health questions? Because that's all any of us else are going to do too. But if you say, okay, I did this and this and this, I chose AHL graded, what do you think? That means you're doing your job and you're just double checking it. But if you want us to do your job for you, we're not going to do it. That's why you got to be able to look through and follow the steps, and then come up with a conclusion and then ask us, what do you think, Todd? Right? In most cases,
right. That's it. So now again, case by case. Melinda, obviously you're still learning and everything.
People that are brand new like this, especially if you haven't had any experience in life insurance, and we're not trying to be smart. We're just saying that the thing is that we're going to do the exact same that you're doing to get to the end result as well. But we want you guys to put some effort into it, and just instead of throwing it out there and having someone else help you with doing it that way, because it's all going to help you out in the long run. Remember, you guys are still new when you're first starting out. A lot of people don't even get paid for training. And just think of it that way. You guys, if you pop off a sale in your first or second week, that's like getting a sale while you're getting paid to get trained. So think of it that way. That's the way I would, see it.
Yep. Does that make a little sense, Melinda?
Oh yeah, no, it makes sense. I just there's so many moving parts. I feel like I'm starting to get it. Especially when you pointed out yesterday, you're making a lot of calls. I'm getting better at referring to the rebuttals, but it's there's a learning curve.
There is, and we're not. Listen, we're not expecting you to learn it in one day or even in 1 week. So I know that sometimes new agents start to also add the pressure of, oh my God, I'm not getting it. They're going to cut me loose. Listen.
I'd say do what Rodney does right now. What he said to do. It's just keep going with the script, agree and proceed, and get just because even if you don't think it's going one way or the other, I would try to just get a presentation and go that route. Little baby steps. Do a presentation today. That should be your first goal, right, Todd?
Yeah, for sure. That's only goal. We'll help you with the rest.
Just do what Rodney had said. That's the advice that I'd say. Just agree, proceed, and get right back on the script and go down until they hang up on you. That's the one thing, guys, that you guys got to understand that, the person that loses the sale, what's the phrase?
Speaks first.
Or speaks first, but also, the thing is that with that being said, also the person that loses the sale is the one that the person that loses the sale. Well, let me rephrase it. The person that gets the sale is the one that hangs up. So in other words, I guess what I'm saying is, you should be on a call until they hang up on you, because that means you did your job.
Oh.
If it gets to that point, you know what I'm saying? Unless you've done
he's not. Don't get him wrong. He's not saying be rude and aggressive so they hang up on you. He's saying, and you'll get better at this, where they hang up because everything they say, you've got a common sense rebuttal, and they get to the point where they're like, I'm not going to win this. That's what he's saying.
There's 2 sales made in every call. You probably heard this from a movie maybe at one point, but there's a sale made on every call, rather. There's a sale made on every call. It's either the customer selling you on why they can't get it, or you selling them on why they need it. So keep that in perspective when there's a sale made. It's a battle each time. It's who's going to win. The winner is the person that you see it. Well, I've already got life insurance, so okay, well then, all right, have a good day, thanks. Well, who won? Customer won. So that's an example, but that's what I mean.
All right. Anybody have any questions or want to add anything?
All right. John's been awful quiet. You have anything to add to that, John? Okay.
All right. Well, listen, I want to leave you with two things here. This is where it's so much easier on my YouTube, because you guys watching me, I can't get into character. But I'll see what I can. I'll see what I can do here. But I thought about one thing this morning, and I heard another thing, and I'll be done with this. My little motivational, send off here. But first things first, and we'll play a little game here. But with the small group we have on, we have double agents that can be dialing. So, that's an everyday event. We're contracting people every single day. I'm looking at my other monitor, and I've got some contact requests, and we do. You guys have all gone through the system, the videos, and the whatnots. It's every week that we cut people's access to box. We cut their access to the dialer. We move on. I get the nasty emails when that happens and the personal attacks. I don't take them personally, but really, this is a program of doers. It really is a program of, listen, if you want to make it, not just at this, but at success, all right? I don't think any of you are here because you want to make an average living. This is not what average people do. Not the everyday average person. Especially just working 100% commission. But there is a difference between doing it and getting it done versus wanting to get it done and saying you want to get it done and saying you want to be successful. And I'm going somewhere with this because today's call, I think, is going to end. It's going to all come around full circle where if you look at, and you've heard this phrase, if you look at what successful people are doing and you mimic what they're doing, eventually you're going to do the same thing and be successful. And again, I am not trying to put anybody on the spot or on a pedestal, but I am shown every single day that this system works. The script works. The leads work. The system is phenomenal, even though it's ours. But you've got to stop the procrastination. And we procrastinate every day. I'm a big procrastinator. If I'm not motivated by something, if I'm not hungry for something, but I know I want to do it or I need to do it, I procrastinate. I do it every day. We all do. But when it comes to this, I've never procrastinated. I've never listened to anything anybody says. And now I get people who they want to join in. I get IMOs who want a part of this because they see it as the future. They see the system we have in place is working. They see it on social media. They see the system. They see all that. And if I procrastinated and listened to them, I wouldn't have this in place. And I'm not done yet. I'm still going for it. And I come from a construction family. I am not a cubicle guy. I did it for 2 years. I friggin' hated it. But I still got in every day at 6:30 a.m. when I was a recruiter. And I worked every day, well, Monday through Friday, till at least 5 or 6 o'clock. Saturdays, I went in every Saturday. And I was young. I was in my early 20s. So I'll be honest, most Saturdays I was probably hungover. But I still went in. I still clipped those newspapers. My point to this is that you have everything you have right in front of you. You just have to push yourself. I can push you all day long. But you really, really have to, and I'm not saying anyone particular, I'm not saying anyone. I'm saying you really have to say, do I really, really, really want to make a lot of money? And people go, well, that's not the only thing. If you see my videos, you know this is me. You got to put that first. If you're going to put helping people first, this is not the industry for you. This is not the market. Because if you put you first and your family and making a great living, then it automatically, guess what comes with it? Helping people. It does. So you got to stop any type of procrastination, meaning I'm going to sleep in a little bit longer. I'm going to get on at 10, but I'll get on at 9 tomorrow. I'm going to work till 5 today or 3 today, but tomorrow I'm going to make up for it by working later. You know my t-shirt, right?
I like manatees just like everybody else, but, the thing is I'm here to make some money. Manatees are great, but, I'm not here to save them. I'm here to make some money.
Right. So, whether you're new or you're a veteran, even myself, every day, I think there's things we procrastinate about that we can dig down deep and understand we have to just power through it. No, there's nothing successful that comes to us if it doesn't hurt in one way or another. So when you feel that, That's where you can't give up. You have to stand up. You got to dig down deep. You got to power through it. Because there's nothing greater than powering through the hurt and finding success. That feeling is awesome. The stopping or the procrastinating sucks. It doesn't feel good. And I promise, if you can take that today, and I know each one of us is going to feel that at one point about this in one way or another, whether it's you make that sale and you're going to go take a break and because you know you're going to get another one or you already got one. No, get back on the phone. You don't make a sale. You're on for 2 hours and you can't close them for whatever reason. You lose them. It gets declined. It's an AIG. That's when you really got to get back on the phone and get that sale. And then hit another one. If you got 2 sales, that's a great day. That's a really good day. I'm going to challenge you to not procrastinate. Go get another. And when you hit those goals, it's such a freaking great feeling. And then, like Rodney says, the cash just starts coming in. It starts flowing in. I don't want to raise the hands. I'm just going to say, how many of us, 4th of July weekend, wish we not only just had a little bit more money to celebrate the weekend, but had a lot more, not only in the bank, but you knew coming back from vacation or break, you had money already coming in. I know. I've been there. I've been on many holiday weekends where I'm like, man, I just want to get back to work because I don't even have any money to do anything. What's a holiday? Now I get it. You're around family. You have some ramen noodles, sit around the campfire. It's all good. Play some kumbaya on the guitar, and life is great. But really, there's all of us that want to have a nice holiday weekend where we know we have money in the bank and money coming as soon as we get back. But we don't because we have procrastination. And that could be a killer, or it could be something that's temporary and you fight through it. So I'm going to play a little game with you guys. Real quick game. It's going to be real cheesy, I'm sure. But I want you, do you guys all have something to write with real quick? And not Marcus, I know I can't see you. So Marcus, go into Jeff's office. I'm going to use Jeff as your judge. Everybody have something to write with?
Yeah.
All right, write down whether it's on on Post-its or a piece of paper or on the palm of your hands. On one piece of paper, write the letter A, and on one piece of paper, write the letter B.
All right, here's Marcus. What are we supposed to do now? I was just talking to him.
On a Post-it or a piece of paper, write the letter A. On another one, write the letter B. And play a little game here. Now, this is more of a not so much a game. What's that called? You know, when you go out and you do those things where you're with the office and catch me and I'm gonna fall back, you catch me. What are those called?
Trust
fall, but
confidence things or whatever.
The exercise thing, right? You learn a little bit about yourself. That's what we're gonna do here. All right. So I'm gonna say a word, and I'm gonna hold up 2 signs. I want you to quickly, and listen, you can lie or you can be truthful. And if you're truthful, this will help you get better at getting closer to success. So I'm going to hold this up, and each one has a letter A and a letter B. But the word is the same. But the meaning is different. Okay? So the word is the same word, but the meaning is different, right? Like now and now. Okay? When I hold it up, when I say this word, I want you to write down the letter of what word you think goes with it. All right? You'll see what I mean. So, hopefully you can see it. So the word of the day is procrastination. Which one of these words Do you think, how should I put this? Which one of these words is worse when it comes to procrastination? Go. You see it? Tell me if you can't see it. Write down the letter. Got it? You guys done?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, we'll start at the top. Lisa, which letter did you go with?
I'm at the bottom.
You're at the top of my screen, sorry.
I went with B.
You went with B, okay?
Yeah.
All right, Jeff, which did you go with?
I went with the letter B.
All right. Well, this is good. I like this. All right, Marcus, what letter did you go with?
I too went with B.
John? We can't hear you. Maybe just hold it up. Or type it in.
The sign language.
Maybe I think his screen's frozen. All right, Rodney, what'd you do?
I went with A.
Rodney!
I did too.
Yeah.
All right. Because I said which one's worse, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Wow. Letter B is the right answer. Now, again, there's no sign. This is my opinion. Because BRAK, it's a brake on your car, right? So procrastination is also a brake. It could stop you from doing what you should be doing. And again, this may be a little cheesy, but BREAK is break. You're like taking a break. So everybody has procrastination. Remember what I was talking about? But it's temporary. It could be as quick as, I don't want to make that next call. I'm going to go for a walk. Or when you feel that, you can say, no. I'm going to make that next call. I'm going to power through this feeling. So think about that today. Think about your answer and think about those two answers, because it's only one or the other when it comes to procrastination. It can stop you from finding success, or it's just a temporary mindset. And your mind is very powerful. I appreciate you guys playing that game. I'm going to leave you with one last little story, because I heard this today and I thought it was pretty cool. And if you listen to motivational stuff, you've heard this before. But it goes along our lines of hitting the numbers, following the script, you procrastinating, just being on this call, coming to our company, coming here. Obviously, what you saw, what you heard, what you read, what you see, you think you can be successful here. Am I right? Is that why you guys are here?
Yes.
Right.
I have people, like I said, who come onto this program who say that. And it's just lip service. They just say it. I'm hesitating because I had that yesterday. With someone. Brand new. I'm listening, and it's like I'm hearing excuses, and I'm saying, man, just stay on script. Follow the script. And it was more what's happening and excuse. Again, I'm walking a fine line here because I don't want to put anybody on the spot. But you guys all came here because you want to be successful. But you're not going to be successful, especially early on, if you don't follow what we're doing. All right? I've said this openly. I'm not a millionaire. We're not doing $1 million a month. I'm getting there, and we're getting there. I know it because I know where we came from. I know where the system has come from. I've even had presidents of insurance companies doubt me, and I tell them, I agree and proceed. That's great. I'm not changing what I'm doing because I'm in control of this. We're in control. So here's the story, and hopefully you guys understand the message here is there's this kid, and this is what I heard today. So there's this kid, and he's with this guru, and this guru, super successful, makes a ton of money. And the kid goes to the guru and says, I want to be successful. And the guru says, all right, if you want to be successful, I want you to meet me at the beach tomorrow at 4 a.m. And the kid kid's thinking, at the beach, I want to make some money. I don't want to learn swimming lessons. And the old man says, if you want to be successful, meet me at the beach tomorrow. So the next morning, the kid shows up. He's all in a suit and tie, all dressed up, thinking he's going to learn something magical and learn how to make all this money. And the guru says, all right, I want you to go out in the water. And the kid's like, go out in the water. I want to learn how to make a lot of money. He goes, if you want to learn how to make a lot of money, I want you to go out in the water or go home. So the kid goes out in the water like waist deep. The guru says, keep on going, a little further. Now he's out there and he's thinking, this old man's crazy. He walks out a little further. He's up to his chest. Looks back. Guru goes, a little further. Now the guru comes out there just as the water's up to the kid's mouth. And the kid's freaking out. And the guru says, you want to be successful? He says, yeah, I want to make a lot of money. He goes, you want to make a lot of money? You want to be successful? And the guru pulls his head underwater. And he's holding him underwater. The kid's flailing his arms. He's trying to pull his head up. And then just right the last minute before he passes out, he pulls the kid up. The kid's gasping for breath. And he tells the kid, he says, what did you want to do while you were underwater? What's the first thing you want to do? One of you guys answer that.
Breathe.
Right. So maybe you guys have seen this before. He says, when you want to be successful as bad as you want to breathe, then that's when you're going to be successful. I love that because I think of that every single day. When insurance owners, when IMO owners, even when other agents come here and they leave and they go, your system sucks and you this and it's too cumbersome and the leads and that, it doesn't faze me because I really do want this to work more, if not more, than breathing because I believe in it. And if you came here because you believe you can be successful with us, you're going to have that same mindset. Because we can only give you the tools and this training and the script and the leads and make sure the leads are coming in, making sure we've got the right carriers. But you've got to want to have the desire. You got to want to say, I'm going to stay on a little later. I'm going to work through lunch. Not all the time, but especially when you're in the slump, you really got to work harder. When you're new and there's a lot going on, you can't just get better taking calls. You're going to have to practice on your breaks. You're going to have to go through rebuttals. Find someone to role play with. But if you're out there because you're having a bad morning and you're searching the internet for different leads, because maybe I can go to Todd and show him this lead program, already you're failing. You don't believe in it. When you know that you could be working today, but you're going to go do something else, but you're going to put more time in tomorrow, you're failing. Because we don't know about tomorrow. And I'm not saying you're going to die. I'm just saying you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring. But you can handle it right now. That is the power of not procrastinating and really wanting to be successful. I have seen this time and time again. And again, I wish Gina was on this call. I'll tell you, last week when she needed money, bad. I think today she's, with what I pay her and what she got paid on her own already, she's already going to make over $1,500 in her bank account. That's going to be by tomorrow. One more sale today, she'll make $2,000 this week. Do you guys see how easy it is? And she's still learning, and she's only on the gold leads. But she just keeps on working. And she's not on right now. But even with that, think about it. With you guys on the phone right now, if you want the success that bad and you put in that time, I promise you, if you want to bring in $3,000, $4,000, even $5,000 by next Friday, it's really that simple. but getting started is the hard part. Cool? Hopefully I made sense. But you guys have anything, questions, comments, anything you want to go over? We've gone really long, almost 2 hours, but I appreciate you guys being on. Anything at all? All right. Well, I get it. We'll probably have to use the potty and maybe get something to eat real quick and break. So, don't think like you got to, have a jug next to your desk. Go, do your thing. But let's get on. Let's rock and roll. And let's have a great day. All right?
Thanks.
See you guys.
Thanks. See ya.